Okay, so step one, make sure that you have both the model open and you're going to find a model handout. The model is just what you're going to recreate, and so I'll show you. So here's the model that you'll be recreating, and actually I take it back. So you'll see online and on the multimedia server and in a handout, you're going to be recreating this model. If I can find it. There it is, model. So that's what we're going to recreate. Everything from Fontana Sellers down to this part right here. But there's also a handout that you were given that is just, it's both the spreadsheet and a step-by-step guide, and it's called the handout. And if you look at that one, as I'm going ahead and explaining this on this video on how to recreate this, it also has a step-by-step guide, and it states on here 1 through 5 what steps you should follow. It's pretty much exactly what I'm going to be doing in the video, and there's the skill and a step-by-step, so you can go ahead and not only use the video if you want, but look at that handout, whatever works for you the best. So I'm going to go ahead and close these out. And let's begin. Let's start from the very beginning, and let's go ahead and open up Excel. So all I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go down to my bottom dock. On the bottom dock, you're going to see a big green X. If it's not there, you know where to go to find it. Go on up to the main menu, go Applications, and you can drag it directly down onto your dock, or go into the hard drive, Applications, and you can drag it directly down onto your dock. I'm going to go ahead and select it, click on it to open it up. Excel opens up. I'm going to go ahead and open up a basic workbook, Excel workbook. So I'm going to double click on it, and this is what I want to create. Okay? Or this is my workbook that I'm going to create. My model spreadsheet, FX. Okay, so you know what I'm going to do? Very first step, I'm going to go ahead and just start entering text onto the page. To make it a little bit easier, I'm going to go, and you might want to do this as well, take a look, model piece data entry, FX, that means function. I'm going to keep it open down in the corner so we can keep viewing what you are trying to create. And I have these tab down here. I'm going to go click, hold, drag. Now let me show you something too. I like to keep like projects together in the same workbook. So right now this workbook is called the One Model Piece Data Entry. So I like to keep, let's say if I want to go ahead and have numbers not only for income statement data but sales of this year, but I want to also have the volume of grapes I grew that year, and I want to have it all in the same workbook. Well, I could go down here and create other tabs. In these other tabs, I can go ahead and make as many, and then you hit this plus down here, and I can make as many of these tabs as I want, these different little spreadsheets. I'm going to go back to my model. So if you're not seeing your model, check the tab on the bottom, because you might not just have something else open. So here, I'm taking a look to see what I want to do, and I'm going to start with this, Fontana Sellers and In. All I'm going to do is get my text on the page, then afterwards I'll format it. So let's do step one, text on page. So I'm going to click, I'm not going to go on the very first cell, I'm going to move down the page a little bit. I can always take out cells later on, and I'm going to start typing Fontana Sellers and In. Now notice there's two ways I can actually enter data here. I'm going to click off that cell. I can click and put it directly in the cell and type the text or data into the cell, or up here in this form line I can go ahead and enter the data directly up here as well. I'm going to go ahead and look, watch, I'm going to take out the word and type in the word and. A-N-D. And now look, down below here in the cell, they're one and the same. See how it made the change? So I'm going to go ahead and change that back. I really don't want it. I'm going to put in there, Fontana Sellers and In. So you can go ahead of me if you want. I'm going to now take a guess. The next one, I'm looking down one line, and somewhere in the middle there, is income statement data. So I'm going to go ahead one line down. I'm going to click, I don't know, maybe right about here. I'm going to type in income statement data. Now, the cell I typed in, notice how it went from over, it's in row 3, and I typed it into 3A. But when I go over here, and what I should notice is when I click on this cell, see how every cell has a name? So when I click on that one, it's A3. When I click on this one right here, the name of this cell is D4. And there it is, D4. So each cell, watch, I'm going to click on what's next one I want to type into. Right underneath it says year ended June 30th. So I'm going to click into this cell right here, and that cell should be D5. I come up here, D5. So that's the name of the cell. So when I go ahead and I click into it now, year ended June 30th, okay, it's in that cell. It's not in the cell to the right of it. Now when I click in that cell, see how nothing appears up here in the function line? And when I click in, see where it says income statement data? It's in D4. It is not in E4. What it's doing is when you type in too much to fit, what it does is it continues over onto the other cell, over it, but not in it. Now if I go ahead and I type something into this cell, see how there's nothing there? And I type in, let's say, the number 5, okay? Now that 5 is there, it's going to cut it off. It's still there, everything I need in that cell. But if it's text, I kind of have a problem because now I can't see the rest of the data that's inside, or the rest of the text that's inside that actual cell. I'm going to go ahead and take out that 5. You know what? I'll explain to you later on when I show you formatting what we're going to do about that. But right now, don't worry about it. Step 1, as fast as possible, let's enter the data. So I'm going to come down here to the next row. On this one here, I'm going to type in income statement data in thousands. Hopefully you can start doing this on your own, not be relying on me. Then I'm going to go to the very next cell. You see here, I go from income statement data, next cell, so I'm in the A and the B column, first quarter, then I have C column, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. So I'm going to go ahead in the B column and type in second quarter. And then you know me, I don't like to be retyping things. So I'm going to double click inside this cell on that text. Now look, I can either do it in the cell or I can come up here to the function line. And I'm going to copy this whole thing. I don't like to type twice. I'm going to go edit, copy, or on the keyboard, Control C, copy. And I'm going to come to my C column and I'm going to go edit, paste, or Control V on the keyboard. Now I'm going to go ahead, do it to the, and on that cell, I'm going to change this to third quarter. On this cell here, same thing. I'm going to go ahead and go edit, paste. Remember, it's not all about speed, it's all about quality, but timing means a lot. This one I'm going to call fourth quarter, and I think that's it. It's asking for fourth quarter. Then I have a line that's all green. It's been formatted. And when I come out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think it's column F. Column F, right about there. No, I don't think so. It's after fourth quarter. So I'm off by 1, but it should be right after fourth quarter. So I'm looking at right about there. So I have my first column as income statement data. Then first quarter, oh, that's what I messed up. I'm missing one. See, that's the best part on this. So I'm going to take, you know what I'm going to do? I need to save. No, I'm going to take this and go first, second. This is excellent because now you can see exactly how I'm making edits. I can either go ahead and double click on the cell itself. Watch, click, activates the cell, click, click. Double click does the word, or I can click once and drag back, or I can come right up here So here is click on the cell to activate it. Now inside of there I can go click, click, click. I can either click, hold, drag, or I can double click on the word, or I can come up here and go second. This one I want it to read third. And then this one here, I'm going to go fourth. Perfect. Okay? Now, on this cell here, I'm going to type in total yearly revenue. And down here on the bottom, I have my last, I think it's row 8, and I'm going to type in net revenue. Perfect. And then I have my numbers, and I'll do that next. So we just finished entering text. Look how a lot of these are cut off. I'm not concerned right now about that, and we'll format this. I'll show you how to format it, get all the data, but let's go on to the next step, which is let's get the data in there. Okay? I'm going to make sure I save this so I do not lose it. So I'm going to go main menu, file, save. It's going to say what do you want to save this as, and I'm going to recommend you call this model Excel FX underscore your name. And for now, save it to the desktop. And we'll now go on to entering data.